Welcome to Fantasy Football 101 Week 6. Week 5 Warriors. Aaron Rodgers had 310 pass yards, 3 touchdowns, and had 30 fantasy points. Ahmed Bradshaw, the backup running back for the Giants, had 105 rush yards, 3 touchdowns, and 31 fantasy points. Wide receiver Devin Hester had 91 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, and 134 return yards, and 30 points. Tight end Jimmy Graham had 124 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns, and 12 fantasy points. And the defense is the Bears. 5 sacks, 1 safety, 1 touchdown, 10 points allowed, and 22 fantasy points. Week 5 Warriors. Rex Grossman, who lost his starting job as QB, had 143 pass yards, 0 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, -2 fantasy points. Running back Pierre Thomas for the Saints had 11 rush yards, 5 receiving yards, and a fumble, which is -1.4 points. Wide receiver Victor Cruz had 12 receiving yards, which is 1.2 fantasy points. Tight end Kevin Winslow had -3 receiving yards, which is -0.30 fantasy points. Defense, the warrior for the defense is Vikings. They had 37 points allowed, 1 fumble and 1 sack, and had 0 points. News. Brandon Lloyd was traded to the Rams for a 6th-round draft pick in the 2012 draft. QB Jason Campbell is out for the season with a shoulder injury. Running back Peyton Hillis injured his hamstring, and his status isn't known for Week 7. And running back Felix Jones will miss 2 to 4 weeks with hamstring injury. Stardom sitter Victor Cruz, who had 1.20 fantasy points. I think you start him because his games have changed. Good game, bad game, good game, bad game, and then this will be the good game. Jermichael Finley had 2 fantasy points. I think you sit him because the past 2 weeks have been bad. Devery Henderson had 12 receiving yards and 1.20 fantasy points. I think you sit him because he's not getting any looks. Deshaun Jackson had 46 receiving yards, 4.60 fantasy points. I think you start him because he's one of the best receivers in the league. And Roddy White had 21 receiving yards and 2.10 fantasy points. I think you start him because, again, he's one of the best in the league. Pickups for the week. Doug Baldwell, Seahawks wide receiver, has 136 receiving yards and 1 touchdown and 20 points in Week 5. Had a bye week in Week 6. And is owned in only 5% of Yahoo leagues. Andy Dalton, Bengals QB, had 264 yards, 1 touchdown, and 16 points in Week 6, and has 1,311 pass yards and 7 touchdowns in 2010. He is owned in only 20% of Yahoo leagues. Preston Parker, Buccaneers wide receiver, has 268 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns and 331 return yards. It has 60 fantasy points a season, which is an average of 10.2 fantasy points a game. He is owned in only 16% of Yahoo leagues. Thanks for watching.